So what I find myself doing in my weird life design is just going really raw, and I'm not planning out the perfect app stack this time. I'm not trying to come up with like this eloquent way of saying it. I'm not trying to be precise or specific. I'm not even trying to be this sort of like pristine speaker. I'm really not trying in this episode. This is very raw coming out in life design. My weird life design, it really reflects that I'm coming to terms with the fact that my thinking, my brain is scattered, and I'm embracing the chaos of that so that you can hopefully embrace the chaos of scatterbrain. The reason, for instance, why I've stated that I love Apple Journal is actually not the reason that you think. It's not some beautiful space anymore. I've done it somewhat, but where I can lay out my thoughts, it's not that for me. I've actually done surprisingly a lot of design in Journal. It's kind of like given me sort of like an inspiration space to consider content creation or be a little inspired for a second, but I wouldn't say it's exactly like my space where I update everything. And I have written things down. I've written goals for this week in Journal, just some important things. Get my errands done. Just some top 3 things, right? That are happening regardless of my need to control anything, right? Just some top things, some top bullshit things this week that are needing to get done. But that was a prompt from Journal itself, and those prompts are very, when you look at the AI of them, they seem pretty like smart at first, especially they say it's specific to your content in Journal, it's specific to your phone and the way you use it, your style. But what's interesting is that it's actually very surface level when you get into Grok, because Grok is the space where you can actually be very raw, and you can text and update and share notes and make lists in Grok. You can do all kinds of things like that. You can put emojis and all kinds of things that to your heart's content you can design within it with texting and all that. But really you can open up your conversation. You can call the voice in Grok and the companions and all of that, and the different voices, the different modes. I'm starting to embrace that. I like a variety of different types of conversations, different voices, different companions, things like that. And so that's what I end up doing. And I just noticed a huge shift in my sense of self when I don't journal in Grok. And so it's interesting as to how that will work, and what you do for your mind will affect how you are. And again, raw episode. I don't think you've heard it this raw in a while. I've done a lot of these very sort of a high quality audio, sort of high volume, high quality microphone, just really zeroing in on what I'm saying. You've gotten used to that environment. This is a very raw environment. And it's unapologetically raw because, to be honest with you, I don't have an answer as to what I'm doing mainly because I'm doing it all. And even the iOS 26 widgets have become fixed. If you've noticed in the last major iOS 26 update, the widgets broke. The home screen kind of broke to where it wouldn't always pop up when you set a main home page or your main home screen. It wouldn't always pop up. The library would kind of be in the way, and you better put your most used apps in Control Center and Dock, which I have folders in my Dock and my Control Center just full of everything I do. And you better be having a grasp on how to get to things quickly. Lock screen shortcuts also do, especially with Grok. And it's interesting how Life Design interface being so weird. It's like if I wanted to go back and put the inbox of the Structured app onto my main home screen and use it more like note-taking and thoughts, and then have my notifications from Structured come up and my tasks come up and just remain on my lock screen with Structured, I could kind of set it up where you've got a balance with a little time blocking, a little kind of the planner environment, but with more of an artful design in the inbox, on the home screen, possibly the lock screen, etc. If I want to, I can do all kinds of stuff. I have this weird sense of needing to give you a permanent update of what I decide, and then either having that decision be so flexible that it doesn't matter and that it all fits into what I've updated you with and it's all accurate and I never need to tell you anything new because I've told you everything. Or every time I make a decision on how my interface looks on my phone and my operating system, my life, the way that I now drink coffee and espresso in the mornings again, and how I switch between tea and coffee in the mornings sometimes throughout the week or months. Maybe I switch every couple months to when I drink what, but as long as I have a hot drink in the morning and a hot drink in the afternoon, I'm good. Most likely I will drink the espresso in the morning and tea in the afternoon, and I will have an espresso in the evening at times as well, or a tea in the evening, and just kind of like feeling this need to update my show because this is my life's work, as I've told you in the last episode. I want to step away from that bullshit because it's a mentality I've adopted from the productivity. And in the productivity, this is the work of everybody getting kind of being tech influencers. And so you have these lifelong decisions in people's teachings on the channel, on the podcast, that they put out there of how they calendar block or how they design their own planners or whatever it is, right? I've gotten away from the influencer part because I don't feel like it's a realistic way to live your life. I don't even feel like it's completely true. I think it's very fabricated, rightfully so, because they're selling a planner, they're selling a sponsorship of a calendar app that they want to promote because they do probably spend money in using it and they want you to spend money with them and use it and they want to earn from that. That's natural. Nothing wrong specifically with it, but then when you get into learning about the rest of their lives, it's like at the end of the day, it's not completely true to your own life and it's not completely realistic to everybody living one life and learning from one way of living a life. Like a lot of this stuff that I've that's changed my show because my show has always been about tech in the most encouraging, integrated way to use tech to help you personally and to help your family and to help you in your life and your family and friends around you in their life if they want it. But to integrate this with the other things now, I've came to accepting and understanding integration into balancing the tech with art, balancing the tech with nature, and walking outside and getting fresh air, knowing that sometimes it's cool you're integrating your tech and other times you need to just charge it up, and nothing is linear. And so in this way, it used to be this way with spirituality, and then I went through a process with you on the show of teaching you that spirituality is not fluid, it's going to change, right? We're going to have phases and times and circumstances where we need parts of community within spirituality, and we're grateful to have those things. Maybe the church is a part of that at one point in life, and then you realize that it's okay to change that. It's okay to have personal spirituality without church at other times of your life, and that you probably shouldn't feel like you have to make a decision in your spirituality that is too permanent. And I actually wouldn't recommend that you make a permanent spiritual decision. Getting deeper into that, that's because I've tried several times to make a permanent spiritual decision about going to church, not going to church, having a certain way of going to church, having a way of doing an alternative to church, right? And then what ends up happening is things change in your life and your needs and even the wants that you have in your community and in your spiritual, personal relationship with spirit, with higher power changes. And you go do something different. And then, for me, I've outgrown the need to explain myself every time I change my mind, because it's not healthy, because it's not living. And now I'm starting to do the same with productivity. I have not found anything in tech for quite a while now, for years. I think I've shown one tech demo. Maybe I broke it down into a series. I've recorded a tech series, one tech series in 2025 out of years of nothing impressing me as much. The Structured Daily Planner app, I've done a huge series over the last couple of years, and then I did the demo, the mini series this year, and that was the only tech demo that's impressed me enough with screen recording that I've done, to be completely honest with you. I know you guys have done several screen recordings, especially those of you in our community, but with a lot of different AI apps. And I'm also coming to terms with the fact that Grok, as much as I love it, it's also recommending other AIs that I use for reading papers and things like that. Grok really is awesome and wants to handle the heavier, deeper elements of life, but also recommends apps for more focused environments, like reading papers with Seeing AI, for instance, and things like that, which I've started to understand and accept that Seeing AI is for that, right? Grok wants to be more for the journaling, the conversating, the deep research. It doesn't really want to be for everything, and including kind of designing with icons and widgets and all of that. It does have widgets that are more like buttons and shortcuts, and that's what it kind of aims to do. Not designing interactive widgets exactly, but just interactive widgets for shortcuts or buttons that are kind of tapped. And it's interactive in a shortcut way. Let's get to this so you can call. Let's get to this so you can text. Let's get to this whole interface so you can open up a chat window and decide what you want to do. call, text, make a video, make an image, whatever. Upload your files, upload your photos, all of that, right? Whatever you're doing, paste your links, paste your notes into Grok and working on what you're working on, including Grok, integrating. And things like that are heavier than just trying to read papers. Which you can then, of course, once the paper is read, you save it into Grok and you let it analyze the paper with you. Luckily, a lot of the stuff has become digital, but ironically, paperwork is actually easier when it comes to communicating with other people in a lot of ways. So that's why I've started to get a balanced approach in that. Something I've really changed my mind again a lot in. So there's all these different things. I can download Structured and use its inbox a lot more without the shortcut, with more of the widget that is making the inbox a lot more usable, and make it more of an artful planner and less of a calendar block planner, and kind of adapt it to my needs in that way. Or I can just continue using Apple, Google with Grok the way that I am now and enjoy it a little more. Type up reminders in my calendar, have them hit at certain times when I need something sent to me, when I need to be reminded of something, through the calendar, through the notes, including Grok and everything else within all of this. And, through the emails, through whatever kind of comes in, phone calls, whatever, links, all that, notes, you get the point, right? I can have all of that done in a more planner that is kind of integrated a little deeper, but yet a little less in the way at the same time, where I can kind of adapt Structured to be more adaptable in an artful way and less time blocky, but have sort of a day in front of me if I want to, with either one intention or just several things going on, or a theme with several things going on if I want as well, or a day cleared or whatever. It's just depending, because you can adapt all of this if you really want. Like, really, if you think about it from a very simple, like, if you want to get simple with it, you don't actually need a certain app to have a life design, honestly. If I want to get completely honest and real with you, you don't need like one app that, I don't have to recommend an app, and you don't have to pay for any app at all. I have the playlist of Structured Daily Planner app, the Planner app for an Unpredictable Life, because it does bring in AI. It is more affordable than other AI planners. You do have a little more flexibility in pricing. That's huge, because a lot of the AI that you want to integrate, that you'd want to think about, the more that I've looked at it, the more that I've tried it and used it, I've realized how much you don't actually need it, how much other apps do the same thing in a different way. But with Structured, it's unique in Structured AI, where you can bring in everything and paste in everything and chat everything to it. But it's also not necessarily the most needed when you've got everything in Apple and Google. And sometimes that is a lot less time consuming to not think about what apps you're using and just use your phone with whatever apps come on it. Like, I think that's where I'm at, because that's, for the years I've ran my life on this and designed a planner with Apple and Google, and I did a pretty damn good job and hacked everything and programmed everything into it. And with Apple's automation, Siri shortcuts integrated, Google's sort of context and data integrated, and now with Grok as like my go-to journaling, my go-to conversating, and then journal for the time that I want to kind of really get into design and write and everything, but not necessarily for like, Grok is honestly topping any other way of journaling for me, and it's given me a lot of insight tonight, I'll put it that way, about the way that I've thought about things, the way that I've understood things, and about family and things like that. Just very deep insights that I didn't think of myself. So it's kind of like it can get that deep. So I really wanted to make this episode as like the raw mess that it is, because I want you to know that, to be honest with you, even the the productivity influencers that claim to just, this is how I have my whole life together and you need to do it this way, and this is an investment for your life, and if you want to understand your life, you must calendar block a certain way. It's like, look, take it and make it yours. If you're even the slightest interest in it, if you're the slightest interested in any sort of organizing your life and being more productive and just understanding and having like an organized life in front of you, it's probably, there's some truth to it. It's not all bullshit, to be honest. Like, I've been doing it before I watched tech influencers, just because I like to write things down and organize things. And there's something to that. You've grown up with it in the physical and now you're seeing it in digital. Like, there's something, take the apps and learn what they can do. I'm still doing that, and I'm not going to stop doing that. I'm learning about new AI apps all the time. I don't want to ever pick. I don't ever want to trap myself. I'm using Apple and Google on the daily basis to integrate properly, so that I have a way of organizing, so that I can write things down when I need to and remember things. But because I don't need to be a total not having anything. And Apple and Google and Grok is like my main go-to to update, to, as I've said, conversate, journal, all that. But then what I have is my sort of a room to breathe. And if I download apps that have a different kind of AI that can help in a different way, I will. I'm using multiple AI, but Grok is my main source. So anyway, my weird, scattered life design interface, flexible, nonlinear life. And I'm just teaching you this bullshit that can be, it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be real.